my name is Rori, and you are listening to Rori's Room, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything life throws at us. As some of you already know, Season 1 of Rori's Room dives deep into the mystery of the Beast of Bray Road, exploring the stories, sightings, and people who have dedicated years to uncovering the truth. If you haven't yet, go check out the Season 1 teaser. It gives a quick glimpse into what the season is all about, with clips from every single interview you'll hear along the way. And don't miss Episode 1, featuring Donna Fink and Jackie Reister, who've been investigating cryptids since 2011, alongside Lee Hampel, a retired teacher who has been collecting data and running experiments on his property, located less than 2 miles from Bray Road itself. Now, as we continue our exploration into the legend, we turn our focus to someone who has documented this phenomenon from another angle: journalism. Today, I am speaking with Dan Plutchak, a retired reporter who worked very closely with the late Linda Godfrey, the journalist who first broke the Beast of Bray Road story. Together, we will look at how this legend grew from a local curiosity into one of Wisconsin's most enduring mysteries.
So my name's Dan Plutchak. I'm retired from the newspaper business, but in the 90s, I was the editor of the Walworth County Week newspaper. And one of our biggest feature stories at that time was, of course, the tracking down the Beast of Bray Road. I retired from newspaper and TV news in 2021. And I currently run a small group of local online social media news sites in Walworth County, Janesville, up in northeast Wisconsin, and up into Door County.
How did you first meet or start working with Linda Godfrey?
So when I was editor of the week, Linda was one of our longtime freelance writers. We worked with a lot of different contributors, and Linda was one of them. So I became editor in right around 1991. So she had been working there, and so we worked together for a long time.
What do you remember about when the Beast of Bray Road story first came to the newsroom?
So it was late fall of 1991. Every week we would have our pitch meetings, and Linda came in and she said, I was talking to some people in Elkhorn, and they were telling me that they had heard about this, or they had seen eyewitness sightings of the Beast of Bray Road, this beast-type creature along Bray Road in Elkhorn. And she said, I think that'd be an interesting story. And I'm like, well, that sounds kind of crazy. I'm not sure I believe that too much, but see what you can find. She ended up talking to the Walworth County Animal Control Officer at the time, and lo and behold, when she was doing her interview, he pulled out a manila folder, and on the outside it was marked werewolf, and in it were these eyewitness accounts of this mysterious beast that was seen along Bray Road outside of Elkhorn. Then in her further interviews, she talked to a number of different people who had these eyewitness experiences with the beast and put it together, and that story came out in December of 1991.
From your perspective, what was Linda's initial reaction? For example, did she treat it as like a quirky local story, or did she see that there was something bigger?
We kind of specialized at the time in quirky local stories, so that was just one of many that she had done. But Linda, through the time, kind of got more and more involved with it and thought, well, maybe there's really something there. The interviews she did, she had a couple people that talked to her, and they had these stories. And then, of course, after the story came out, more and more people contacted her with other similar stories that they had, sightings that they had seen around the Elkhorn area.
You mentioned that you were a little skeptical at first. Did the newsroom and community react the same way when Linda's article was published?
I think everyone always had some skepticism of it. The animal control officer always felt it was either a coyote or, something like that. So he never put too much stock in it, but everybody had fun with it. And there was always just a little bit of thing in the back of people's minds like, oh, is there something to this?
What role did you personally play in covering and editing any of those early stories? I know you said you were the editor at the time, but were you involved in a deeper matter at all?
We got calls from national stories. Some of the TV tabloid news shows contacted us, so I talked to them. So they came in and interviewed Linda. Then we got calls from international places around the world that were interested in the story. So it really started small, but it took off. The National Enquirer contacted Linda and our photographer, Terry Mayer, and they paid them to stake out Bray Road for one night to see if they could see anything, and of course they didn't. So it really exploded, and so we followed up with stories. I wrote some columns about it, just kind of managing the interest of it. And I still get calls, like you contacted me. 2 or 3 times a year, I'll be contacted by somebody from either the U.S. or around the world interested in the story.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're still involved in it.
Yeah.
Were there any moments or details from around then that didn't make it into print but stuck with you over the years?
No, that was the fun part of it. But pretty much everything that we heard, we ran and published. And of course, the Beast of Bray Road was never caught, never photographed, but no one ever proved it wasn't there either.
How would you describe Linda's approach to investigating unusual or paranormal subjects as a journalist and as a person? I know you said that she was really into signature goofy pieces, but was there a specific tone that she liked to approach all her stories with?
She was a very good storyteller. She was good at interviews and knew how to ask good questions, but her writing was very conversational. And so actually she, after these stories came out, I think she wrote for us for another year or so. But then it kind of launched her career in writing books. She did a screenplay for the Beast of Bray Road. So there's a couple, you can find them out there, a couple Beast of Bray Road, scary sci-fi movies. She did a number of books and collaborations, Weird Wisconsin, Strange Wisconsin. She'd be asked to speak at different sci-fi and Tales of the Strange conventions and things all over the country. So, she really turned that one story into a whole career that she kept going with up until she passed away.
What was it like to watch Linda evolve from that local reporter to a national recognized figure and author in cryptozoology?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, everybody, enjoyed seeing the attention that it got. It's probably the one story that got the most attention of all the ones that we did, certainly when I was there.
From your experience, how did the community's view of the Beast of Bray Road change over time?
I mean, the community still has fun with it. Like at the time, I know that like at the Christmas parade the following year, there was a Beast of Bray Road float. There was, I don't know if they do it anymore, there were a couple of Beast of Bray Road festivals, probably in 2022, 2023. I noticed that in downtown Elkhorn, the restaurant there, someplace else, they're having a Beast of Bray Road bar crawl. It's still definitely part of local lore and legend, that's for sure.
I do think they still do festivals. I'm not necessarily caught up on it, but I saw a Facebook group that does stuff every spring. And then, like you said, they have bar crawls and stuff in the fall, which I think personally is like the best time for it with all the Halloween festivities.
Yeah, right.
It definitely draws attention. Were there any particular witnesses or stories that you found especially credible or compelling?
It was only interesting in that the people who claimed to have seen the Beast of Bray Road definitely believed they saw something that was not a coyote or a big dog or a bear or something like that. I mean, they were 100% convinced.
Do you believe that the phenomenon was actually real sightings?
Oh, I mean, personally, I think it was probably something like a coyote or a large dog or bear or something like that. But everybody likes a mystery. Everybody likes a little sci-fi. So there's certainly something to that.
Has your perspective on the beast changed since those first reportings in 1990s?
Personally, no. I mean, I thought it was just a fascinating local story, and I like that. Like I said, the people who have said they have eyewitness accounts of it are so convinced that it was something strange that, I just like the story part of it.
Do you think that the Beast of Bray Road was Linda's greatest contribution to Wisconsin journalism?
Certainly the most well-known. I mean, at the time, our publication was a weekly newspaper centered in Walworth County, and I think probably did hyper-local news before that was a thing. That turned more into a digital and social media thing years later, but we didn't cover what other people covered. We tried to find the stories that no one else covered, and she was particularly good at that.
Do you think Linda realized the scale of what she started back then, that it would kickstart her career like this?
Not at the time, but she certainly took full advantage of it, and that was kind of the topic that kept her going.
How do you remember her as a colleague and friend? Beyond the legend, beyond the Beast of Bray Road, just Linda Godfrey.
I mean, we were all a very close staff in those days. A lot of creative, talented people, and you get a group of creative, talented people together, and it just kind of feeds on itself. We would do our staff meetings, once a week. We'd have our pitch meetings in the office, but we would always also take them to people's homes. We would have them sometimes at her house, sometimes another writer's house. We do different places in the community, and so it was very much like a close family.
If Linda were here today, what do you think she would say about how the story continues to evolve?
I would think she would appreciate it and take full advantage of it. She'd still be doing it if she could.
How can people get involved with stuff like this, whether it be journalism, cryptozoology, etc.?
I mean, there's a million things. It certainly continues to be a very local thing, just like the local events that go on in Walworth County, and that's how people can connect with other people who are interested in similar things by getting involved in local events.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you're curious to learn more about the Beast of Bray Road, a great place to start is with Linda Godfrey's books, or just dive into your own research with whatever resources you can find. Don't forget to check out the other episodes from this season, like last week's chat with Lee Hampel, Jackie Reeserer, and Donna Fink, and definitely tune in next week for our Season 1 finale with Wisconsin Caps founder and lead investigator Barnaby Jones. Thanks again for joining me, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!